archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. Now I never been down with no OPP. I talk about selling our people's property. Don't know who doing it, so don't round me out. Don't send no police round me and tell me shush my mouth. Where's our conviction? But where's our pride? We selling everything, selling our backside. Just go online, it'll make you sick. You can buy any island, just point and click. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. Hey, hey. Ride him. My mother always say, when you find a donkey, ride it. Who's the donkey? What? Come on. We got a whole nation in 73. Now we getting back the whole country. What kind of fools we must be, selling out for a bag of rice and a cup of tea. You know what does bug me? Help me understand. I can't find piece of property for under 80 grand, but I can fix this. I know what to do. I can squat just like them other people try make me do. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. I get everybody sells some every time. They're selling one island, give away one key. What gonna be left for you and me? It's just an example, what's our kids to do? You want them have a sense of pride, or go selling too. Cause they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling our whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country, yes man. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling our whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha.
Whoa, girls, we outdoing it. beyond my faults and sore and needs. And I shall forever lift my eyes to Calvary to view the cross where Jesus died for me. How marvelous the grace that on my falling soul. He looked beyond my faults and saw my needs, and I shall forever lift my eyes to Calvary to view the cross where Jesus died for me. How marvelous the grace that in soul. He looked beyond my faults and saw my needs.
Go.
3 years, sir. 3 years, the leak in the room. The mole making me, my son sick. My son is asthmatic. I have a son say off now from doctor on medication. 2 weeks, the mole. 3 years, house and salary reduction. 3 years, it's killing me, my son. My son is have asthma. Sick. He had days and weeks off from work in school. I missed 66 days last year from work with no medical just because of this mole. My son must say 100 some days from school just making us sick. The mole spreading all through the bathroom. All on the tiles, this mole, all the termite, everything eating up, just rolling up to the termite. Look, I've been asking for help for so long.
And this is a government apartment?
Yes, a government run. I've been here for 8 years. I've been here from February 27, 2015.
You
sir.
talk to them?
Yes, sir. I write letters over and over, even for this year. They just send me emails. Oh, we got your attachments with pictures. Every day I need my player glove, whoever she is. I've been about also send me all that rain 2 Wednesdays ago. Nobody saw me. Nobody had nothing to say. Everybody jumped in their car. And the police is threatening to lock me up and say, making noise. I was a single parent mother. I only make $260, 17 years weekly for government. Please, I need help, somebody. Only me and my son, we don't deserve this sickness. 66 days for my job, I only entitled to 7 days a year. I get cut from last year, July, and bring home no salaries. From July till December. No salaries. Every week, $75 coming up by 2 something. $190 some deduction. I leave with $30.12. 17 years weekly. For Department of Social Service weekly work program participant. 17 years weekly. No incomes, no activities, salary deduction. Rent coming out. Bank payment, no. Yeah, bank payment, $106 a week coming out for the bank. $75 for housing every week coming out. And $10 and some cents for NIB coming out. Leave me with how much mess? The increase just gone last year, July, $40 to $220, and 10 is NIB, so still it's only $150. It's an insult to the Bahamian people, sir. It's an insult. 17 years I work weekly. Department of Social Service, Abigail Mosswell, employee number 34240. Thank you. This is a public service announcement. I love Mr. Bain. He fight for people like me. That's why God sent him here today. You know why? Just every time I go out, ask him for help, you always look at me because I'm a woman. I weekly, we can't help you. The bank don't give me no loans. I can't even get nothing. I can't even get, I even have soap or toilet tissue in my house. See my son there? 16 years old, mole and asthma killing him. All kind of asthma. He was just sick, puking blood the other day. Diarrhea killing him, infection, sinus, asthma, everything. My son was so sick like a dog. Where you get help from? I get medication, I get a prescription I even filled for Monday. I had to take a week vacation off because I already exhausted all my sick days for this year. Come on, man.
You haven't seen Wayne Monroe?
No, sir. See him where? We can't even see me now when I see him the last day when my 2 neighbors get murdered. And that's the first time I see him, and that's when he been in my door. And that was on a Sunday, and it happened on Friday. I asked him why he just reached here. He needs to leave. Thank you. He's out of here.
Well, I give you a couple dollars to help with the toiletries.
So come see you think I lie. No tissue, no soap. I'm a lie. I said, woman of God. My husband will be 23. I see no soap, no tissue, no nothing. My son in there. No soap, no tissue, no nothing. I've been on medication for a week. I've been in the doctor Monday and being a wife. And this is my bathroom. I've been here AJS. So the termite killing us, the mold killing us, the roach killing us, the rat killing us. That mold is not LG, that's asbestos. They know that. My son is up asked me to serve this. He's a honorable student.
Yeah, God bless you.
God bless you a millionfold, Father, in the name of Jesus. Give to the seed of a billionfold in return. So
right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this.
All right.
God will never bless you, sir.
Well, hello and good afternoon, Bahamas. It's so good to have all of y'all here. It is always a pleasure to be with you. We continue to fight. We continue to fight for the new Bahamas and continue to fight for what is ours, what belongs to us. If we don't fight for this, it's going to be gone. So thank you for wherever you are tuning in from. I missed one live last Tuesday. And I was flooded with calls and texts. And thank you for the concern. I really appreciate that. I had some personal, serious family matters. Of course, you know that I had a niece who died in the hospital because there was no bed in ICU, which was completely devastating. That Bahamians are still going through this in 2023. That's devastating. I had another a personal family matter that was even worse. And I'm dealing with that now. So I'm on a mission. And but I want to thank all of you who have been calling and texting, et cetera. We will have the new Bahamas. We will continue to fight. So good evening from wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you share. We got about 1,295 people watching right now from all of our platforms, from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and all of the different platforms you're watching from. Thank you for that, and we appreciate you being here. But get on here and take some time to share. Put it in your WhatsApp groups. Put it in Messenger. Send some persons out. Tag some persons right here in the chat. They'll see it. They're gonna see it, and so that's what we're gonna do. In the meantime, we are on a full-fledged fight for our country. We, the Coalition of Independents, have boots on the ground. We have not stopped since the election started. We have not stopped one day. We've not taken a minute of rest. And every time I announce I was taking rest, it even gets busier when I try to. I guess people feel like, okay, he's going to be off now. I can get him. And so they even start calling even more. But we have not taken a minute break or breath since the election. We have been going and going and going. You remember days after the election, that's when we started getting flooded with immigrants. I guess the call went out that, listen, there's open season in the Bahamas. Everyone come. And that's what they started to do. And so we had to go down there to Inagua and force the government hands. Remember, they were making excuses. Oh, Haiti didn't open the airport, et cetera, et cetera. And then when I made the announcement I was coming, they found a way to get that done. And we went there and made sure they got those people on the planes. And so we have been fighting and we've been doing what we can. We've not taken a break. There's so many things that we've done in this short period of time. We can't take the time to sit down and brag about everything that we've done or to even inform you of everything that we've done. But what we want is for you to come and join us in this. This fight is not for us. This is not about us. This is not for power. It's for us, the Bahamian people. That's what us means. And so we're going to continue doing this. We have boots on the ground. People think that we just started doing walkabouts recently. No, we've been doing walkabouts, and we've been in a lot of communities already. And I'm going to touch every single community in this nation. We've touched Bamboo Town, and we've touched so many different communities. I think we've been in Garden Hills or Tall Pines. So if I miss out any, but we've been in a lot of constituencies, Pinewood and Freetown, and you name it, we've been in there. We've been doing work in different constituencies. We've done work in Pinewood. You'd have seen some of the things that we were doing there, including painting the house for old lady. And we have another old lady we're going to be painting the house for coming up very shortly, because the Pinewood member of parliament is busy trying to get us to pay more NIB instead of what he should really be dealing with. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I think it's ridiculous that he is trying to pop the necks of the Bahamian people instead of trying to fix that flooding problem. I also talked to him about fixing that flooding problem, and my answer that I got from him was, again, shocking. But I'll talk about that a little later. If I forget, please remind me, because I have a lot on my plate. But we've done work in Baintown. Some roofs have been fixed. Old people have gotten air conditioned. There's stuff that's been going on all over this country. We don't brag about everything we do, and everything we do does not make social media. But we are working every single day. Our mission right now is to build an organization that you're going to be proud of. And so I say that to say, I want to thank all of you who've been coming out and helping us with our dollar drives. You know, the PLP is angry that we're going to the people, because that's who we're going to owe. Every election, the oligarchs and the financial backers, they come and they give money to the politicians. They buy them. And the politicians use a small amount of that money to buy you, to bribe you with $50 in a t-shirt. That's what they do. And so they don't owe you anything because they've already paid you off. That's why the politician, you can't see him no more. He already gave you something. He might have given you a stove. He might have given you one little government job. He owes you no more. All right? But the politician owes the financial backer. And so that's what they do. The only people we're going to owe is the people. And because that's who we're fighting for. So yes, we're doing it like Obama did. We're going to the people. A lot of Bahamians have been the victims of credit card fraud and stuff like that recently, with some of these different companies, including shipping companies, doing stuff online. And so a lot of people are afraid to use their cards online, because we have an online process that people can give, but most people like to give in person. And so we go on the streets. We're normally out there on Village Road, on that roundabout, and not roundabout, on that light, and some other roundabouts, Carmichael Road, etc. And we are getting funding from the people, because that is who we are going to owe in the end. We are getting funding from the people, and that's who we're going to have to please in the end. Not some oligarch, not someone who said, listen, I need a road contract, or I need you to pass this. Okay, I think we have some internet issue going on. Okay, I think it's resolved. Where I am is the internet is unstable. So we may have some up and down. So it's not, I don't think it's the government attacking today. All right. And so we're going to owe the people. And so every political organization has to be funded. And it's simple as that. So people say, oh, you come into politics with your money. I don't want you to think for one set as much money as Minister declared that he spent any of his money on election. I don't want you to think for one sec that Brave Davis spent any of his money on elections. That's not how they do elections. All right. Everyone has to raise funds. Obama did, Biden did, Trump did. Everyone has to raise funds. That's how elections work. And that's the first thing they teach you in political science. All right. From you learn game theory. That's a subject in political science, game theory. first thing you have to do is be able to raise funds. And so that's what we're doing. We're on the streets and we're raising funds from the people. That's what we want to owe. We don't want to owe anything to any oligarch. And if you don't understand that, of course, we know the PLPs won't understand that. But the Bahamian people, you are the only ones who are going to be able to make demands of us when we get in power. All right? And so that's what this is about. Now, just want to let you all know, as you share this, we have a mass rally coming up. There's so much going wrong in our country. They're talking about spending, what do you call it? All this money to have this 50-year celebration. 50 years of what? 50 years of corruption, 50 years of incompetence when nothing in our country works. And so we're not interested in that. We're not fools anymore. 50 years of what? What is there to celebrate? Philip Brave Davis? What is there to celebrate? Hubert Alexander Minnis? What is there to celebrate? Perry Gladstone Christie? What is there to celebrate? Hubert Ingram? What are we celebrating? What are we celebrating? Incompetence, corruption, a country that is worse today than it was 50 years ago. There's nothing to celebrate. I sit down, I go on YouTube and I look at other countries and they can show the difference between their country today and 50 years ago, and it saddens me. I look at Bay Street, east of East Street, and I say, look at how this place is decrepit. I guarantee every Bahamian listening to me today, we are going to fix that. That is a guarantee. Bay Street, east of East Street, will be an entertainment mecca like you have never seen before. It will be the Times Square of this side of the hemisphere. It is going to be something that you can be proud of. We can't put all our ideas out there, but that boardwalk is going to happen. There's going to be coliseums. There's going to be stadiums, buildings, and it's going to have Times Square type entertainment, shows, Bahamian shows. We're going to revamp this whole thing. We just need to change their focus. And there are Bahamians, talented Bahamians who can get this done. Talented, trained, educated Bahamians. There are Bahamians with degrees in this stuff. But there's nothing for them to do. There's some Bahamians doing this stuff in other countries. We're going to bring them home. We need vision, man. Bay Street from East Street, go west, is going to be pedestrian only. There's going to be tables and chairs out there. There's going to be constant Junkanoo, etc. Going on. You don't have to wait till the end of the year for Junkanoo. There's going to be people paid. Just like with Saul Curse and them, they realize that people want to see Junkanoo, so they hire a Junkanoo group to do it in their shopping area. And so we're going to do that on Bay Street. It's going to be themed. Come on, man. We need vision. We're going to transform this place, and we're going to do something different. We're going to do something different. All right? We're going to make this make sense. When we look at our country, healthcare is worse. We need real ideas for healthcare. I saw I might go all over the place today, but I'm really passionate today. We need real ideas for healthcare. We need to stop focusing on accident and emergency healthcare and start focusing on the prevention. We are going to have a movement of wellness. We're going to offer free healthcare. How is one of the ways we're going to do this? Right now, they say it would cost us $500 million to offer free healthcare. That's what the government said when they were looking at the national healthcare. In order to do this, no, we're going to find a way to bring that down. You know why? Because we're going to give you free healthcare if you choose to participate, and that's including catastrophic healthcare. Because many Bahamians have worked, educated themselves, saved up their money, invested their money, bought buildings, apartments, houses, and one child gets sick, one child gets cancer, and they lose everything. They go bankrupt. We can't have people going bankrupt, and we can't have people dying anymore because of healthcare. As I said, why is it in 2023 that a family member of mine would die in that hospital, the same hospital that Hubert Ingram's mother died in as she was sitting in A&E because they couldn't see her? The same hospital. Hubert Ingram's mother died with chest pain, sitting waiting to see the doctor. Heart attack. sitting waiting in A&E. That's in the 90s. And we still here. And he didn't think that, you know what? Instead of spending, well, minutes, doctor, instead of spending $60 million on a rundown hotel that the hurricane destroyed, let us spend $60 million on a health facility. No, no. No beds, running out of equipment, running out of supplies in the 21st century. Wellness, well, we're going to make you participate in your health because we're going to have programs where you participate. You are going to have a doctor or a health professional, not just a doctor, a health professional assigned to you who's going to monitor you, almost like a parole officer who's going to monitor your health. If you are at risk, they're going to do proper assessments with you every year. Some of us, the reason we die is because when we find out that we have a problem, it's already in stage 4. It's already too far, and it costs the state more trying to see you in A&E, house you in the hospital. It costs us more money. We're going to save this, all right? And because you're going to be forced to get regular health checks. It will be more regular health checks if you are at risk, and you're going to have to participate. You're going to have a mobile app that monitors you. There's some mobile apps in the market right now, but we're going to have a mobile app that monitors you. You're going to say, if you're at risk, you can tell us, you're going to put in your exercise routine. It's voluntary, you know. You don't have to do this, but if you don't want to do this, go get insurance. You're going to show us your exercise routine, show us what meals you've had, and the app is going to have recommendations for you and keep up with you. You're going to be able to access your healthcare facility by video without even going anywhere. You'll be able to talk to your doctor in one click, make appointments, be able to see them to make sure that you're in tip-top shape. Every so often, they're going to check on you to make sure you're following this. And so what this is going to do is this going to reduce the amount of people who are catastrophic, and a lot of what happens in A&E is people who are last stages of diabetes, last stages of cancer, heart disease, etc., because it wasn't dealt with before, and so it's causing our system to be clogged. It's not just the immigrants. Immigrants are a problem that we're going to deal with, but a lot of it is because we didn't have the health facilities. People are going to be willing to participate in these in this program because it could save their lives. You know, they're getting something from it. And so this is what we are definitely going to do. And so we're going to have a new healthcare facility that has gyms and other facilities, everything that you could name, acupuncture, whatever it is, all of the naturopathic and the standard and the natural medicines, etc. We're going to have all of this. Healthcare, man. Come on, man. We can't have our people dying. Let's invest in that. Let's invest in our people, man. They keep saying this moniker that the health of a nation is the wealth of a nation. But why aren't, if the health of a nation is the wealth of a nation, but y'all aren't investing in health, what are you saying to us? Y'all want the nation to be unwealthy. I think that's common sense. Because 50 years later, we have the same hospital that we had back then. The Family Islands don't have hospitals, clinics on the Family Islands. An elderly person should be free to move to a stress-free family island and live health-free. Live a healthy life, I should say. Live a healthy life on the Family Islands. But they can't do that now because they're in problems if they go there to live. You know what's so bad about that? The people on the Family Island pay more taxes than us individually. They pay more taxes than us. Why do I say that? They pay more for gas to put in their car, so they pay more tax on the gas. We pay taxes through VAT, right? They pay more taxes. When they go in the food store, everything is more expensive. So they're paying, they are contributing more to the system, but getting less. It's not fair to people who want to live on the Family Island. You're price gouging them to death. They're paying more taxes individually, but they're not getting more benefits. Give these people proper health care. Give them hospitals so they can move. They can live a stress-free life on the beach. Come on, man. We need vision. Transform this country. But anyway, I just want to give snippets on this stuff. Healthcare is worse. Education is worse. Go and look at on our website, coalitionofindependence.com, and look at our education plan. Teachers have been blown away by the education plan. Go and look at what we're going to do with education. We're going to transform the way education is. In our system right now, we have a regurgitation form of education, which is you give the information and the child is supposed to regurgitate it. It don't matter if they understand it, don't matter if they know what it's for, et cetera, et cetera. No, we're going to change that. We also understand that everyone learns differently. All right, there's 8 different ways of learning. We're going to make sure that every child is assessed early and we know exactly how they learn, and we're going to teach them based on the way they learn. We've learned from Finland. Our government officials have been to Finland, which is the best education system in the world. We've learned from other countries similar, but they've not implemented anything that they've learned from them. They want to keep us dumb. That's it. With education, they want to give us quantity, more schools, but not quality. And so we're going to transform that because everyone learns different. Some people are good with this. Some people are good with this. And so we're going to teach you the way that you learn. And so we're going to have a focus. And so there's much more I want to talk about that. Education is worse than it was back in the day. All right. We're failing and they're doing nothing. And we're accepting that. They are still talking about the D average. What have you done about the D average? Nothing. You all need to step aside. Y'all are failing. All right. Crime is as worse as it's ever been. We stayed home and we stayed home and didn't vote and allowed a prime minister who literally said that the solution to crime against women, rapes, et cetera, is to give every woman a whistle. And we voted and we put him in office. I don't blame him for not doing anything about crime. We put him there after hearing those words. So when the fella comes up to you and breaks in your house and a rape happens, I apologize. We let that happen by putting Brave Davis there. When the fella comes up to you with a gun and robs you, I apologize. We let Brave Davis get there. We did that. This one ain't Brave fault because he told us how stupid and idiotic he was before the election, and that's as it relates to crime solutions. And we still put him there. And so we should have expected the result that they would be able to do nothing about crime. Nothing. They're saying that some of the crime statistics are that 25% down or whatever this nonsense is. Absolute nonsense and play with words and a play with statistics. It's absolute nonsense. Because they're talking about murders. They said, earlier this month, they said the murders was at 35, but last year at that time it was 45. It's already caught up now, right? But at that time, that's what they were saying, playing with words. But what they don't show you is how many people survived. Like someone got shot today, right? But he didn't die. If he had died, that's not a murder. A lot of the fellas are surviving their gunshot wounds. And so if you really look at how much people were actually shot, how many double and triple murders you heard, 3 people got shot, 1 succumbed. That would have been another 3. Then the next weekend, another 3 people shot, 1 succumbed. Okay, that would have been another 3, 6 right there. They're doing nothing about crime. And we are under attack viciously. And there's no hope. We need real plans for crime. All right. And so the Coalition of Independence has real plans for crime. I say all this to say, in every area of this country, we are going backwards. I'm not going to vision cast too much here, but it's 50 years. And so we are going to have a rally coming up on Labor Day. On Labor Day, we're having a rally. And we are going to rally the people, not just to talk about the problems, but to talk about the solutions. We're going to have a rally. We want you to come up and show the government that we are here and we are fed up. That's the only thing that moves them. You see, when we went on Bay Street and made a demand as it relates to immigration, it was still a little bit denying. It was like, oh, these people are serious. And then we went to the Prime Minister's office. And we went there and we took it in writing. This is what needs to happen. We started to do some of the things on there because they see the movement. They're only afraid of numbers. We're going to have a rally on Labor Day. We're going to announce all of the location, et cetera, by next week. All right? No, we need a month in advance. We're going to announce it this week. All right, we're going to announce the location and everything where we're going to have this rally, and we want all of you to come out. All right, we want everyone to come out, be a part of this. And what's so special about this rally is, I told you, we're ready to govern this country now. We're ready to take over. We are going to begin to release our shadow ministers. Oh, they thought it was just me? I told you there's some people behind the scenes. Some of them we're protecting, some of them we'll continue to protect. Oh, y'all thought that Lincoln was the only brains or the only brains behind this? No. Y'all are going to get the surprise of your lives talking to the PLP and FNM. There are Bahamians with vision who are ready to take us into the new Bahamas, into the next Bahamas. Oh, y'all thought if y'all harass me and get rid of me, y'all are going to stop the new Bahamas? The new Bahamas is an idea whose time has come. And there is nothing that y'all can do to stop this. Change is here. And so we are going to start to release our shadow ministers. Every so often, we're going to release more, and we're going to shuffle some more. But you're going to start to see the people who are ready to lead this nation. Then at the end of the day, you have to decide, wow, can I take a chance with them? Are these Bahamians who ready for the change? Or do we want more of these yes men and puppets who are going to come with their qualification and just go in there and do whatever the party says and be nothing and of no use to the Bahamian people? What use is Wayne Monroe's expertise right now? Tell me. They come and this dream team. What use is Wayne Monroe's expertise right now? Tell me. You know how to wear a coat suit? He speaks very slowly. He's very intelligent. He's a good lawyer. Not that. But how is that benefiting us as it relates to crime? Nothing, because they want crime. The government is allowing crime to continue. There's something deeper going on. We have to break this system. What benefit is Dr. Darvel right now as it relates to healthcare? Tell me. As experienced, they say, oh, you got to get the right candidates. You got to get this. Wasn't Dr. Darvel a right candidate? What benefit is he? It's not the candidates. It's the system that we are going to break and destroy. And we're going to turn this country back over to the Bahamian people. That is what we are going to do. How is Dr. Darvel benefiting us? And people dying in the hospital every day. Right now. Huh? How is he benefiting us? As much as I like you, Glennis, you're not benefiting us as it relates to education. Education is not improving. Nothing is happening. What is the benefit of your presence there? All of you need to get lost. Tell me one minister right now that we're benefiting from in the area. Social services is a disaster. They're now giving our benefits to illegal immigrants. The Minister of Immigration, you have police experience. How is that benefiting us with the corruption that is going on? And so we have a choice. Keep doing the same thing, because they come back next election and then the FNM is going to say, oh, look at this dream team. We tired of y'all dream teams. We tired of it. Because after election, it's like y'all the dumbest people in the world. Can't get nothing done. We tired. We want a new Bahamas. This old Bahamas ain't working out. We could throw that whole thing in the garbage and we could start a new one. This old Bahamas is not fixable. That's done. We finished with that. We are going to have a brand new Bahamas where all Bahamians will benefit. All will benefit. Where we will be put first in our nation. That is what we are going to have. We tired of the scams by the PLP and FNM. We ain't falling for that no more. And so, ladies and gentlemen, rally time. And so some people are going to go on that Labor Day march. I don't know how that benefiting us, all the labor crying. Some of them getting some little crumbs from Brave Davis, and they satisfied with crumbs. When we got billions of dollars in natural resources and carbon credits sitting down that we could be benefiting from, people satisfying with crumbs. With crumbs, y'all. With crumbs. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, rally coming up is going to be on Labor Day. And so we want all of you to come out if you're serious. Now, a lot of the protests, etc. This isn't a protest. This is us. A show is for us to show the government that we are serious. That this is a movement. This is a strong movement, and they better listen to what we have to say. That we are ready to change. That we are ready for change. It's a holiday. We expect everyone to come out. You're not working. Come out. Spend your Labor Day with us. And so by this week, we're going to start to give you some of the details. We expect to see all of you there. Let's show them that we are serious with this. Let's show them that it's time to change this country. It's time to make some demands and transform this nation. We can't take no more. And so get ready. So you're going to see some of our shadow ministers. And these are people who are going to be moving forward, commenting on different things, putting stuff out on different things. It's rally time. We ready now. We ready now. We ready to govern now. And while myself, Charlotte Green, Maria is always out there in the forefront, we out there standing in the front line, taking the bullets for everyone who is to come. I lead from the front. That's what I do, from the front lines. I can take the bullet. And then you're going to start to see an army coming forward from behind me. And they're going to stand next to me, and we're going to take this country back. We're going to take this country back. And so, healthcare, Ministry of Health, immigration, finance, education, get ready. We're going to release some of our shadow ministers, and it's their job to hold the government feet to the fire. There's people ain't got no ideas. So, but it's time for us to put some stuff forward. So make sure you are there. Make sure you don't come by yourself. Make sure you bring someone with you. The new Bahamas is at hand, and they can't stop this. They've stopped talking about the issues. They have stopped talking, and I'm talking about the trolls of these different parties. They've stopped talking about solutions to whatever is going on, and they are governing by gossip. Man, listen to me. Sometimes people send me little voice notes where people say this or that about me or someone else in the COI and this, and I just listen. I'm like, listen, I don't have time to be distracted with anything. Nothing is going to take us off this road to the new Bahamas. We are going to part the Red Sea, and we are going to part the Jordan River, and we are going into the promised land because we have been in the wilderness too long. And if they think that gossiping about me is going to change my mission, is going to have anything throw me off in any way, they have another thing coming. What they've not been paying attention to is that people aren't interested in gossip. We just tired. We tired, man. We tired. So we have raised an army of regular Bahamians who are tired. And we want to see different. And we want to change. So for the 1,434 people who are on here, make sure you share this. Share them. Let them know that it's time for new vision, man. New vision. We got to bring this country to another level, or we're going to lose this. All right? And that is what we have to do. I showed you a video earlier. And I am going to open the phone line to you, but I showed you a video earlier of a woman who was in this community. It's a government housing. I showed you that, so many of you just tuned into here. But I showed you that it's government housing, and it's sickening what I saw in that government housing community. You know, I think let me pull up a few more pictures. me pull up a few more pictures for you with that. And while we talk about that, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to get your ring. So contact our office number 804-4264. This is our COI ring. It's a different model than you saw me with before. So it has our logo on there in the colors, the black, gold, and aquamarine. So it's a beautiful ring. I love it. So they are $250. Get your rings. All right. Trying to make some space on here to show you some of these pictures. Listen, this government housing. So government wants to criticize landowners, and and they want to have this to say and that to say. The government can't say nothing to nobody, based on what I am seeing. They can't say nothing to nobody. This government housing. This is the government apartments. Come on, man. Come on. This is the government apartments. This. It's a government apartment. This is through Sutton Street in the Freetown area. We went there to do our walkabouts and see what's going on. Let me tell you something. Everyone say Wayne Monroe gone. Wayne Monroe say he ain't even coming back. But they say he gone. Everyone want him gone. It's right here. Let me see if I can pull up the other one. Okay, they ain't ready yet. Still loading. But this is government facilities. And the woman is talking about how the place is falling apart, holes in the roof and all this kind of stuff. That's a government facility, man. That's a government facility. I mean, even that they can't get right. All right? There's some more pictures. They're loading, so I won't. Let me because some of y'all just tuned in, because now we got 1,443 people on here. Okay, so let me let you all see that again. For some of you just tuned in. Go.
3 years, sir. 3 years, the leak in the room. The mole making me, my son sick. My son is asthmatic. I have a son say off now from doctor on medication. 2 weeks, the mole. 3 years housing, salary reduction. 3 years, it's killing me, my son. My son is having asthma. Sick. He had days and weeks off from work in school. I missed 66 days last year from work with no medical just because of this mole. My son must say 100 some days from school just making us sick. The mole spreading all through the bathroom. All of the tiles is mole, all the termite, everything eating up, just rolling. Look at the termite. Look, I've been asking for help for so long.
And this is a government apartment?
This is a government run. I've been here for 8 years. I've been here from February 27, 2015.
You talk to them?
Yes, sir. I write letters over and over, even for this year. They just send me emails, we got your attachments with pictures. Every day.
Go.
3 years, sir. 3 years, the leak in the room. The mole making me, my son sick. My son is asthmatic. I have a son say off now from doctor on medication. 2 weeks, the mole. 3 years housing, salary reduction. 3 years, it's killing me, my son. My son is having asthma. Sick. He had days and weeks off from work in school. I missed 66 days last year from work with no medical just because of this mole. My son must say 100 some days from school just making us sick. The mole spreading all through the bathroom. All of the tiles is mole, all the term.
Okay, look at it freeze up. I don't know what's going on there, but look at it freeze up. But there's more. She even took us into the bathroom, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's deplorable and disgusting. And I'm calling on the government because Wayne Monroe is totally dysfunctional. So I'm not going to even waste my time, mentioning that fellow or talking about him. I'm calling on the government to do something with that. The government needs to lead by example. So Wayne Monroe, listen, man, not Wayne. Minister of Works, whoever's responsible for these government departments, Minister of Housing, Jobette Colby. Jobette, I think that come under you because that's government apartments. You see that? You see that? Before you all build another house, do something with that, please. Man, y'all, come on, man. Come on. Come on. It's Bahamians. And you know what's bothering me about this nation right now is that you have a royal opposition. His Majesty's royal opposition. And They ain't saying nothing about nothing. They did mention the wastage and traveling of the government. Remember that? They did mention that sometime in the House, right? Because we don't listen to them much because they don't have any credibility to say anything. But they did mention that. But lo and behold, look what's happening right before your very eyes. Now Michael Pintard is traveling with Brave Davis. How you go from telling Brave Davis he traveling too much to traveling with him? I would have told Brave Davis, listen, that money with your budget for me to travel, y'all, let's go fix up some government apartment. Let's go help some poor people. Let's go give these nurses what we owe them or give these teachers what we owe them. That money, that couple $100,000 that it was going to cost that y'all's going to spend on me. Because they are going to spend about 1.4 million or something like that, 1.3, 1.4 million dollars to go travel to the King coronation. That's what they're about to do. While we're still breaking up our car. But let me tell you the results of that. You see, Brave Davis is good at one thing, getting rid of his opponents. Only one nut he can't crack. That's COI. Got rid of the media, so they can't have nothing to say about him. Got rid of his political opponents. Say, okay, Loretta, let me get you a job. All right, let me get as much you like it. Let me give you a job. And now he's giving Pintard a job. Pintard, you gonna be my bag boy. You can carry my bags. I can pay for your flight, eh? And when you come over here with me, I can give you your own car, your own hotel. You can fly first class. You can live good. You can eat. And so guess what? For the next 3 years, you can't say nothing but me traveling because you was with me. You did it too. Promise, if y'all don't see what's going on, I don't know what to say about us as a people. Pintard finish. You might as well pack up and go sit down. Pintard, from you accept the offer, not from you jump on the plane, from you accept that offer, you have sold out on the Bahamian people and you have gone against your oath of office. Because if you felt they spending too much wasted money on traveling, how you going traveling with them now? So moving forward, you can't say nothing about nothing. Pintard is going to be there as a fall guy. Someone have another side. That man didn't sell out. If y'all can't see Pintard didn't sell out to try to give Bravis 2 terms, because Ingram, Christie, Davis, and Cole each supposed to get 2 terms. If y'all can't see that man didn't sell out, something wrong. But let me just say it if you haven't seen it. Pintard is sold out. That's why he talks, but he knows how far to go. Brave Davis took away the sovereign wealth fund. What did Pintard say? Brave Davis put the carbon credits in his name, meaning the Prime Minister. What did Pintard say? All this skullduggery going on. What is Pintard saying? And the PLP still jicking him because they still posting stuff about him going in Sandlands and all this kind of stuff. They're still posting stuff about habits that he has, or allegedly has. They still attacking him while using him. Bahamas, there's only one hope, and that's for New Bahamas, and that's for the COI to take us into the New Bahamas. Well, we're going to come and we're coming with the vision and everything else that we need. All right. There's a lady who testified and said some things against Kurt Cornish. I can let you, just to remind you, I'm going to let you hear this, just to remind you. Here she is. She made some accusations against him, and now he is being questioned by the police. Just waiting for it to load. Everything is loading slowly. The internet where I am is not good, so I'm very sorry. Pintad must ain't used to traveling because look, he need this little opportunity to travel. Okay, just waiting for the ladies' video to come up. I hope it plays because the internet is going very slow for us at this time. All right, all right. We'll see if it cooperates. If not, y'all saw.
That same week that I made the report, my ex boyfriend, he came by the house, he talked for a moment, and then he forced me into my room. And at that point, I asked him, what is it that he's doing? I said,
Okay, okay. That's taking too long for me. So I'll just keep talking. Um, the lady came and made accusations. And then all of a sudden, she got a lawyer after Brave Davis them came out and lied about the situation. Brave Davis them make it said, listen, the woman don't want no police action. I mean, same thing with Joe Betkovi. Davis said, investigation. What investigation? And the commissioner of police came out and said, yeah, there's an investigation going on. But one thing with Brave, I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, um, you started to see the same thing happening with this scenario. And then she got a lawyer. I'm very concerned about that because she got a lawyer. I mean, a good young man. I actually like him. But he is a PLP troll, and that is Bajon Ferguson. He works closely with Wayne Monroe. They do everything together. And, it was shocking to me when the Baby Bella thing came up, and Wayne Monroe was there saying this and that and next thing, and we fought them. He sent Bajon to go represent the other side, the mother. And I was like, wow, Wayne Monroe said his people. Now again, this thing come up, and is against, making the government look bad, etc. I don't know how Bajon get on that case, but he is, and he works with Wayne Monroe. And I can't say that means he do the right thing, but when I saw that, I said, listen, this one over. This over. Because maybe the family doesn't know the connection between Bajon and the PLP or the Bajon and Wayne Monroe, etc. If they don't know, they don't know. So I said this one over. And then I heard a lawyer, Bajon, coming out and saying the same thing. The government was saying, oh, there's going to be an investigation, and after investigation, and this and that, and whatever. Okay, listen, Bahamas. That one, over. Okay, cancel that one. Move on to the next thing. Because once you saw them put their inside man there, that's over. All right. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. That is over. Next thing I want to touch on, I'm going to open the phone lines in a minute. Next thing I want to touch on is NIB. All right. Get to that in a minute. Tomorrow, we want everyone to tune in. Our chairman, Charlotte Green, is going to be on the Steve McKinney Show on Peace 107.5. So tune in at 5 p.m. Our chairman, Charlotte Green, is going to be on there. So tune in and hear exactly what she has to say to the Bahamian people. So make sure you are watching that. All right. So, and thank you to everyone who supported our tent sale that we had yesterday. Thank you to everyone who supported the walkabout in Grand Bahama the week before. We want to thank you. We're doing a lot of stuff in the Coalition of Independence. The media is bought out, and so a lot of what we do is not going to be in the media. So some of your family and friends are going to think that we've gone quiet. We're not saying certain things because they're not in the media right now. It's going to take you to spread the word. If your family isn't on Facebook, send them the YouTube link of this. You take action. You do what you have to do. Screenshot parts that you want them to see and send it, or bring them here to be able to ask questions. I'm going to take questions in a minute. I'm going to take it from text and from. I'm going to let you call in. So either one of them you're going to be able to do. Just so you can, if it's a question your family member asks about anything, that is why I'm here. That's why we're doing what we're going to do. We got to save our country. All right, NIB. They are raising NIB. Myself and Maria has already done an expose on NIB, an expose that actually shows that the problem with NIB is nothing to do with the cost of it or the benefits. It is to do with the fact that they've taken the money and spent it for themselves. They've robbed us of NIB. We've shown documentation, proof of how they used to every year. They would say, "This is how much money was made. This is how much money was expenditure," and it was always far less. So I don't know how it would get any different now. All right. It was always far less because we got more persons working now than was working then. So if it was less people working then, there's less benefit staff to pay out now, but more workers there. You see, the problem is NIB is a Ponzi scheme. That's the problem. They are trying to find more and more clients to cover the ones they promised from the beginning. And they are trying to find more and more ways to rip off these ones from the beginning by saying, "Oh, we're going to change the age." If when I joined NIB, y'all told me that I'm going to get paid when I reach 65, pay me when I reach 65. Don't wait till I get 65 and tell me I got to get my money at 67. You're crazy. That's criminal. If you try that in the business world, you would be arrested. That's criminal. That's wrong. And so for Mars the Rotor to be pushing this out there, that's a Pinewood MP, to be pushing this nonsense out there. No, the problem is not just that NIB is running out of money. Tell them why it's running out of money. NIB is running out of money because it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme because y'all was doing the same thing FTX was doing, ripping everything from it. And y'all have these sick psychopaths like Leslie Miller on the radio every week, on TV every week, opening his mouth after he done robbed the Bahamian people by getting loan from Bank of the Bahamas, and then they take our NIB money to pay off their loans. So the PLP did. The PLP took our money from NIB to pay off their loan. They gave themselves loans. This is how they stole legally. They gave themselves loans to just take the money. Can you imagine Leslie Miller get $30 million for that bowling alley? $30 million? You could have built a hotel with that. Y'all give Les Miller $30 million. And then, you just our people ain't gonna pay back. We'll come. We remember you too. All of you, I won't call all your names. And y'all gonna form some a scam company called Resolve. Resolve? The FNM talked about it. Say it's a scam. It's criminal. Any other country has been locked up. Then they get the power. They ain't do nothing about it. Nothing. Because all of them are in this together. All of them. NIB is going broke because Ingram, Christie, Davis, and Minnis raped it. And then they're going to make us pay for it. And then what they can tell you, "Oh, don't listen to Lincoln. He's selling dreams. Don't listen to Lincoln. Oh, he's a crook. Don't listen to Lincoln. He this and he that." It's like when you have a debate with your friend or your significant other and you have all the information and they realize you're right, then they start just calling you names. That's what the PLP is doing now. So y'all could let them keep cooking y'all and painting everyone else as the bad guy, or we could change this country. We didn't wake now. We got the documents. We showed you the documents where they bought derelict buildings, houses, derelict mansions with NIB money. What would NIB doing with mansions? Why you spend our money to buy derelict mansions? $6 million on a derelict building that is condemned and no one could even live in? Oh, because Ingram and Christie involved? Remember, we was there in front of the building and Ingram's son showed up. Ingram's son showed up and said, yeah. Say, not just my daddy. Say that one right there. My daddy and Christie own that. Remember? We've already shown you the documents. We don't talk unless we have proof. This NIB situation is a scam. and they're going to tell you not to listen to me. They're going to try to get rid of me, get rid of Maria, etc., etc. And that's their whole plan. Last thing before I open the phone lines. The Bahamas is actually being audited for human rights. And all of the countries go to this. All the countries have been to this 3 times since they've started doing this. I think it was in 2008 or something. The Bahamas is now being audited by the UN on human rights. And you would see that they put out some declaration the other day about this human rights thing. But it's because they are being audited, all right, on human rights. And before I finish with that, Brave Davis had made arrangements for him to get an award in Florida for human rights. He let some Bahamian in Florida put this forward, and he was supposed to get an award as a part of the 50-year thing for his accomplishments as it relates to human rights. Brave Davis, what accomplishment you have on human rights? Brave Davis, what is this? They was going to arrange just to make him look good to have this done. But Bahamians in America who saw our protests spoke to a congresswoman who was a part of all of this. Let me tell you her name. They spoke to the congresswoman, and the congresswoman, after speaking to the Bahamians and hearing how Brave Davis and them, Frederica S. Wilson, this is what they're reporting, all right? After hearing what really happened, she said, not a day like it, she ain't gonna be a part of that. And so they decided not to give the thing to Brave Davis anymore. Women were beaten on a beach, and elderly persons, political leaders were kidnapped, etc. And you talking about your stance on human rights? Brave Davis is the worst leader we have had as it relates to human rights. Y'all brought military on Crown land for Bahamians while not touching the illegal immigrants. Talking about human rights. Boy. My Lord. But anyway, the Bahamas Review, the 43rd session of the Universal Periodic Review. And so that's what's about to go down. It says that the Bahamas human rights record will be examined by the UN Human Rights Council Universal Periodic Review work group for the 4th time on Wednesday, the 3rd of May, 2023, in a meeting that will be webcast live. The Bahamas is one of 14 states to be reviewed by the UPR working group during its upcoming 43rd session from the 1st to the 12th of May, 2023. The Bahamas' 1st, 2nd, and 3rd UPR reviews took place in December 2008, January 2013, and January 2018, respectively. The documents on which the reviews are based are 1. National report, information provided by the state under review. So provided from our government. Information contained in the reports of independent human rights experts and groups. So I don't know who they spoke to about that. But hopefully these ain't groups that sell out to the same oligarchs or the same to the government. I'm afraid they really speak out. I hope one of these groups mention what Brave Davis has done as it relates to the abuse of Bahamians. And they are right to assemble. Known as this, because if that isn't mentioned, then something is wrong with these groups. But we will be there watching to see if any of these groups mention what really went down in Bahamas. It is known as the Special Procedures, Human Rights Treaty Bodies, and other UN entities. Number 3, information provided by other stakeholders, including national human rights institutions, regional organizations, and civil society groups. We have a civil society group here in the Bahamas, and I'll see if they're having anything to do with this nonsense. All right. The 3 reports serving as a basis for the review of the Bahamas on May 3rd can be found here. All right. So on May 3rd, the Bahamas is going to be reviewed. Location, room 20, Parlors, the Nations in Geneva. So that's where they're going to be. The time and date is 2:30 to 6 p.m., Wednesday, May 3rd. And that's in Geneva, Switzerland. The UPR is a unique process which involves a periodic review of the human rights records of all 193 UN member states since its first meeting was held in April 2008. All 193 UN member states have been reviewed thrice, I mean 3 times, within the first, second, and third UPR cycles. During the fourth UPR cycle, states are again expected to spell out steps they have taken to implement recommendations posed during their previous reviews, which they committed to follow up and on, highlight recent human rights developments in the country. So hopefully they will highlight the human rights development of persons trying to deliver bills to the House of Assembly and attacked by police officers. We'll see if they talk about that, and persons being assembled peacefully and being attacked by police officers and arrested. And what happened on Goodman's Bay Beach. I hope we'll see if they talk about that. But do you think they're going to cover that up or talk about that? We'll see. The delegation of the Bahamas will be led by Mr. Leo Ryan Pinda, Attorney General of the Bahamas and Minister of Legal Affairs. The 3 country representatives serving as rapporteurs for the review of the Bahamas are Kazakhstan, Paraguay, and Romania. The webcast session will be, and they have the webcast session there. We're going to broadcast it so everyone can be a part of this who wants to be. All right. They'll have a list of speaker, and then so there's more information here. All right. And they tell you who to email if you got a grievance or if you want to put something there. So, Maria, y'all get on that list right away. You can't let Brave Davis and Lion Ryan them go there and mess this up. All right. And so we gotta make sure we deal with that. All right. So I'm going to open up the phone lines for you if anyone wants to have anything to say. It is 803-5995. 803-5995 is the number you can call. WhatsApp or regular line. You can call now. I'm here and I'm waiting. What do you have to say about the stuff that we talked about today? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about the rally? Do you have any suggestions, etc.? Are you ready to start to see who the team is, who are going to take us into the New Bahamas? Are you going to be there? Let's talk. Okay. You called, but you hung up. Call back. All right. 803-5995 is the number. 803-5995. Let's get it up on the screen. Call in now. 803-5995 is the number. That's the number on the screen. Call us in. Let's talk. Let's hear what you have to say. 803-5995. 803-5995. I'm also going to take questions from you online. So let's start putting your questions up online. I'll begin to read them. All right. What Mr. Bain needs to make a report on Miss Johnson. Who's Miss Johnson? I don't know. Who's Miss Johnson? Just let me know. I don't know I'm sorry, Miss. Let me know. This person keeps calling and it rings once and then it hangs up. Okay, let's see if we get you now. Good afternoon, you're live.
Good afternoon, President Bain.
How you doing?
I have my condolence for your loss.
Thank you, man.
You pointed something out earlier last year that in Freeport there is the largest mining company in the world mining aragonite in the Bahamas.
Yes.
And no one came forth and said anything about it. You had to uncover that, Mr. President Bain.
Yes. They're not telling you anything about what's happening in our country because they don't want you to benefit. It's simple as that. And they want this gravy train to continue. So they have their paid trolls who they pay to go and spread lies and propaganda and all this nonsense to distract you from what's really going on so you don't get what's yours.
Who's the MP for Freeport, President Bain?
There are 5 members of parliament for Freeport. There are 5 of them.
But isn't Mr. Pintard in Freeport, registered in Freeport?
Yeah, Pintard is in Freeport, but Pintard, he is the most torn apart and individual in the history of the world. Pintard was a puppet of Menace, All right. And then when he realized he wanted to run from leader, they said, okay, we got to make it look like we ain't together. So let's make it look good. And he was also a political prostitute of Fred Smith. I know that for a fact. Remember the Togi and Bobo thing, the murder for hire thing that they were doing when he was arranging the $500,000 for them, and he had to quit as senator, and he had to be removed from his position as chairman of the F&M. Well, he was working for Fred Smith. Remember, it was the NIGAD Louis Bacon thing. And so he was their puppet. And so he's the consummate puppet. And so now he's the puppet of Brave Davis. He's traveling with him. He's going to be his lackey for a couple of days in England. And Brave is going to pay for everything for him. And so that's where the problem comes in. So if you think he could do something, I mean, he has given away a lot of stuff in Grand Bahama because Fred Smith was really funding him. But I want you to know Fred Smith's agenda. So if what's his name, Michael Pintard, but I mean, if the devil is to pull off a heist and Michael Pintard becomes prime minister of the Bahamas, Fred Smith run the country. You know what's about to happen then. Borders really open because he fights for that. That is scary. He funded Pintard. He funded the F&M. Remember, he went there and he did a video with someone was shining his shoe, and he said, "Yeah, I give the money to the F&M." It was really Louis Bacon money. All right, I give the money to the F&M. I funded the F&M, and he was funding Pintard. So all them little gifts he was getting from Pintard, he said, "Oh, he's a good MP. He's give out stuff." That's you being tricked again. Your country could be gone because of gifts and being fooled. But Mas Raleigh come in.
I'm not trying to imply anything, President Bain, but $9 billion of our natural resources are leaving the country. 0.5% of 9 billion Bahamas is 45 million. That can buy a lot of favors, President Bain.
Yes, it can, and it's way more than $9 billion worth of our natural resources leaving the country. $9 million is a drop in the bucket. It's way more than that. One company was $5.4 billion. One company.
Wow.
All right, so it's way more than that. But thanks for your call. A lot of people trying to call in. Let me just get them. All right.
Thank you, President Bain.
All right. Thank you. Good afternoon. You're live.
Hi, yes, I wanted to ask you about agriculture. I don't know if you are familiar with an organization called, anyway, they putting the mRNA vaccine in fruits and vegetables and now in meat.
Yeah.
The name escapes me right now, but what I'm saying is I don't quite understand why they're not pushing agriculture to the level that they should, because I don't know a lot of people who want the COVID vaccine put in their meat and in their fruits and vegetables, and I happen to be a farmer, and I'm really interested to see what is going to happen with regards to agriculture, and the fact that we have the ability to grow our own foods.
Well, let me tell you the vision for agriculture. You could stay on the line in case you have a follow-up question, or you can hang up and listen. We've put forward some of our vision for agriculture. I've met with many of the farmers over time, and we've cast a vision out there even before the last election. And that is that we are going to we're going to fund agriculture heavily, because if you can't feed yourself, I mean, you're starting out from the wrong place. And so we know that agriculture is America's #1 industry. A lot of people don't realize that, but that is what they do. The majority of America, their land is dedicated to agriculture. If you go in those middle states, all you'll pass is that. And so we don't want to compete with them with Frankenstein food, which is what they are experts in because they're scientists. But we want to focus on organic farming. We believe that we could have a niche and we could focus on organic farming. And that doesn't mean that you can't still farm whatever you want to farm. But we mean as terms of funding and government and what we want to do, we want to focus on a niche. And that's going to make us able to have more of the fruits that people aren't dying from. All right? Because I'm going to tell you in a minute the reason they kill agriculture. But we want to focus on that niche. How easy would that be to sell? You say Fiji water, it sounds good because Fiji is paradise. It sounds like an unpolluted paradise, so that water should be good. You say California raisins. California has sun, it must be good raisins because that's what raisins are, dried up grapes. And so when you think about organic food from paradise in the Bahamas, that's an easy sell all around the world, from Whole Foods to Europe, to Asda in Europe or whatever, wherever you want to sell your foods, that can be a global phenomenon. And that way we're feeding the world, but at the same time, we're feeding ourselves healthy food, and not this for export only food, not Frankenstein food, as that's what I call it. Roundup is now, there's a court settlement with Roundup. You know, that was the weed killer that you can kill a lot of weed with, and it found that weed killer was actually causing cancer in a lot of cases. So people can get big settlements from that now. They do this stuff for years and years, and after they make their billions, then they come back and say, "Oh, if you were a victim of this or that, you can get this compensation, but it's going to be small in comparison to how much money they made," and then they move on. But the reason they killed agriculture is because the oligarchs in our country bring in between $1 billion to $2 billion worth of food, depending on what year it is. And that's a lot of money. All right. And why would they let you grow your food and take away from them bringing in food? All right. The government was also dependent on that, because if you could imagine the customs on that and later the VAT on that, that's a lot of money the government was making. So even if it was just $1 billion and they're making 30%, you know, and that's $300 million right there that the government is dependent on. So they helped kill the farming industry in order to, because we didn't have sales tax and all that at the time, or VAT or anything. So it made sense to kill the farming industry to let these oligarchs bring in food. All right. And so that's what Ingram did. Ingram started that. And they started attacking the farmers. You know, there's rules in place. You can't sell directly to super value, et cetera, et cetera. Why? All right. They started reducing the amount that you could bring to the packing houses. They were trying to kill the industry, and that is what they did. But in the new Bahamas, farming is going to be a priority and number one. We are going to invest in our farmers. That's what America does. They subsidize their farming industry. Why? Because you got to be able to feed yourselves. If you could subsidize Bahamas there and these other things we subsidize in, and you can't subsidize farming. So we could eat some healthy food. We are going to subsidize our farmers. We're going to invest in hundreds of millions of dollars in our farmers. There's 700 farmers in the Bahamas. They lied to us and told us, one, our soil isn't good. That was the lie they told us to justify. They always vilify a thing when they want to kill it. All right? They said our soil isn't good. That's a lie. They said Bahamians don't want to farm. That's a lie. They still have, after all of this, 700 registered farmers in the Bahamas, but they're killing them. And they still going out there and still sacrificing and doing what they have to do to get this done. Mom, I promise you, in the new Bahamas, early, we are going to meet with the farmers, and we are going to flood them with money to start growing our crops right here. And we are going to invest. Our government spends $8 million on advertisement for Atlantis, $8 million on advertisement for Bahama every year. We are going to invest in branding our food and sending it to the rest of the world. This is a promise.
Okay.
All right. I know I talk long, but I had to try to be as comprehensive as possible.
Yeah, that's fine. I know that the global elites don't, or I don't even call them elites, but the global people, leaders, they hate anything to do with you growing your own food. I think they want to make that something of the past. So I don't know. I just kind of hope nothing bad happens to us because we want to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. The global elites don't care about that. Like I said, you focus on your niche. The global elites don't care about organic food. All right. That's why I said you focus on a niche. You're not competing with them for their Frankenstein food. You see? And they will leave that alone. And that's our focus. All right.
All righty. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you too.
Okay, bye.
Good afternoon. You're live.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Bain, and good afternoon to the Bahamas.
All right, hold on one sec. I just letting everyone know because I get a little. Listen, there's a rapist on the loose on our chat. Please just That's a rapist, and he is paid by, before it was the PLP, and now then it was the FNM, and now it's the PLP again, to make sure that we stay in the old Bahamas. That's a rapist. All right, let's not even hurt our heads with these kinds of people. There's no place for them in the new Bahamas. All right, we don't have time for them kind of people who are admitted political prostitutes. They will say anything to keep their masses in power. And I am not entertaining any man who would viciously rape young girls, viciously rape them, and then attack them, send text to them, which I saw with my own eyes, and attack young girls. There's no place for them. Because I can tell you one thing, people who molest young girls in the New Bahamas, they will not walk our streets ever again, or boys, ever again. So I can see why that rapist would want to keep us in the old Bahamas. All right. He went and pretended to be a music teacher so that he could get access to little girls. All right. I don't have time for foolishness. These are people who want to keep us back in the old Bahamas. All right. Protect our country from these rapists. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Bain. I'm calling concerning the rate of cancer in Grand Bahama.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to figure out, for the life of me, why cancer patients, along with their disease, have to make a trip to Nassau. Got to find a plane ticket, find a place to stay, and then to go to the hospital. Why isn't there anything in Grand Bahama? I'm calling from Grand Bahama. And when you're talking about national insurance and environmental health, they aren't doing their jobs, because if they were, they would be on some of these jobs inspecting them for the things that they are doing in the Bahamas, which is dumping chemicals, oil. Nobody wants to do their job. Everybody just wants to point the finger. But my main concern is what is going on in Grand Bahama.
Yeah.
And why hasn't there been a survey taken from government after government? Why hasn't there been a survey? And why hasn't the hotel, or I'm not even worried about the hotel right now, but why hasn't the hospital been fixed, or the airport? Why? The money was already allocated.
The money for the hospital was already allocated. Since the Minister administration, we got that from outside sources. The money has been there. They don't care about us. Why would they do anything when they know they could just keep swinging us and we could just vote for them? They could flood the country with money from their financial backers when right before election, and they know we could be stupid and just vote for them. Hospital, their plan, that's the plan right now, is to wait until the last minute to start doing the hospital, so it could be something for election, because they're like, no one is going to remember if you do stuff too early. So they want to do stuff close to the election so that you could remember it. So in the meantime, you all just die. You just keep dying in the hospital, keep dying because there's no beds and all this kind of stuff. And we'll just do it before election so that everyone will forget. And that's a political strategy. All right. But I don't even think that they're going to do it. I think that they're flamming. How you could build a hospital when Brave Davis is going to spend over almost $90 million on his travel. 80-some plus million dollars, almost $90 million on his travel. All right? How you expect to have hospital and he need $90 million to travel? How much hospitals could that have been? Huh? That could have been a free, that could have been a solar plant paid for. That could have covered all of New Providence, solar for electricity. That $90 million Brave spending on the travel. We got money. They just spend it on what they want to spend it on. My brother, Grand Bahama is a priority for our administration. It is. For the New Bahamas, it is a priority because Grand Bahama is the gateway to the New Bahamas. All right? Its location and everything else is important. Say again?
When are you coming to Grand Bahama?
I've been to Grand Bahama a lot this year. We're going to be coming there soon to open up our office. And so just stay tuned. We'll let you know when we're coming there. But we have a rally first on Labor Day. What's that? In the beginning of June? That's June 2nd. on Labor Day, we're having a rally first, and then we'll be to the Grand Bahama. I'm not sure if we're coming to Grand Bahama before that to open up that headquarters, but we'll be there very soon.
I look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you, man. All right. 803-5995 is the number. 803-5995. Every time, see, the PLP right now has a lot of paid trolls who are criminals. They cannot have a regular life. All right. All they know is crime and fast money. So they cannot have a regular life. So they're using these fellas because I guess they hope they could intimidate people, but they ain't working right now because BAM is just that fed up. They're using these criminals, some of them who can't travel and some of them who can't do anything with their lives. Criminals in order to spread their message and intimidate people. All right. That's all they have. You check all of them. And that's what they're doing. And if that's who you want to get your message from, you ain't serious. All right? You ain't serious. And so we gotta wake up and get this thing right and do sense. All right. Remember, Steve McKinney show tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Michelle Green, our chairman, is going to be on there. Let me look at 803-5995 is the number you can call in. Ask your questions now. Your family members might have some questions, something they don't understand. Any question, even a tough question. Don't be scared to ask me a tough question. Any question. All right. We are prepared. We are ready. We are ready to govern from day one. We was ready from 2021 September. We was ready to take over this country and go to the next level. We still ready. This is researched. We are everything we are saying. We're researched and we're ready to go. So call and ask your questions. Let your family members hear that we are serious and we can get this done. All right. Let me look on here for some of your questions. If you've already asked it while I was talking, I wouldn't have seen it. So you could put it again now if you want to. All right. Grand Bahama is a magic city if resurrected. Grand Bahama is going to be the magic city when you see the plans that we have for that. All right, Grand Bahama. Listen, man. One, we are taking Grand Bahama from the Port Authority. All right, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm not afraid to say that. We're going to make them an offer they can't refuse. All right, and little Sarah is going to say, what? Okay, deal. We're going to make them an offer they can't refuse. All right, because right now, our limestone, all this stuff is going out. We're not benefiting from it. The government is supposed to get a percentage, you know. The government is supposed to get 7% of every activity that goes on in Grand Bahama. Y'all didn't know that. That's in writing. That's an agreement. 7%. What do we get? Nothing. Where the 7%? All the schools were supposed to be built by the Port Authority. They ain't building no schools. The hospital was supposed to be built by the Port Authority. They ain't building that. The airport was supposed to be built by the Port Authority. They ain't doing that. Not only that, they were supposed to pay for all the staffing. Pay for the teachers in the schools. Pay for the nurses and the doctors in the hospital. The part of everything. That's in writing. I've already had a live showing you. All right? And some of y'all just started following me, but I've already shown this to you. It's in writing. Documented. They ain't doing none of that. All they doing is benefiting. Huh? We take a pause there because someone just said something like I said I was going to talk about. 2 years later, Pinewood still flooding. I think that's a Pinewood resident saying that. 2 years later or 40 years later? 40 years later. Our homes them came there in 1983. I was there because we moved there in 1982. When people started moving in 1984. 40 years later, they built. And when they built, they didn't build not one drain, knowing the problem. I spoke to the fella trying to push this NIB Ponzi scheme, Mazda Roda. All right. He's the new Sam Bankman-Fried, Mazda Roda. He's trying to push this Ponzi scheme. For NIB, for us to get raped some more. He said, I asked him what's going on with the solution for flooding. I said, I already gave it to y'all. It's simple as that. I saw y'all what's his name? Alfred says, talk about my idea in the House of Assembly as if it was their idea. Said they got it from some other country. They lie. I put it down. I showed the whole plan. We did a video with it. And I said, y'all talk about it. Say y'all could do it. What happened to it? He said, well, they look like they ain't want to do that. But what they could do is they could do a 600-foot drain right in the middle of Pinewood, and it's gonna run. All of the drains are gonna be connected in that part of Pinewood. That's the Pinewood we used to call the New Pinewood back in the day. So like Sugar Apple Street, uh, Breadfruit Street, and Rosewood, and all those corners. They said they could be connected, and they have a 600-foot deep well. I said, but that ain't gonna do. He said, yeah, but I gotta make it look like I'm doing something, because look like you just get voted every time when you don't do it. He said, you gotta make it look like you're doing something. So they're gonna sell that as a big solution to dig this 600-foot thing. Now, the party didn't promise him all kind of funding. They could pump money into Pinewood because they just want to make sure that Lincoln Bean don't get in the house. They could give him everything. They could make sure he could give people jobs. And yeah, they're already calling people, offering people jobs. If you need a job, go to Maserota. That's your job. If you need money, go to Maserota. That's your money. But don't let them do that to swing you out because they scared of the new Bahamas. All right? So I just wanted to plug that in there. The solution they talk about with digging this 300-foot well, the well will always be clogged. You can get nothing from that. I get back to Grand Bahama right now. I was trying to download. Okay, look like it download. Let me see if this come up. There's some of the drains, and I saw the internet is back. I had a bunch of pictures of this and videos to show you all. And there's also some flooding. This is the same area where this pink apartment is, through Sutton Street. The drains are clogged. It's been clogged for 3 years. Let me see if the other picture come up. Let's see if that come up. No, it's not coming up. I'm sorry. But the drain's been clogged for 3 years. There's a water pump there that doesn't work, and drains that are full of muck. And so someone reached out to the government to tell them to come clean it. Otherwise, we go in there to clean it. All right. So people on Sutton Street, we're gonna come and we're gonna deal with that. It's ridiculous, man. This floods. The flood. If you see the watermarks on the wall, there's watermarks on the wall in the building, and that's because of this. What y'all see in there, that's the watermark from the flooding, you know. This is worse than Pinewood. This regular rain does this because there's no drain. This black stuff y'all seeing, that's the watermark. With killing the paint and doing all that, that's the watermark. That's how high the water comes when it rains. And it's a government apartment, and they wouldn't even fix the drain there. You know why? Because they got so much people in Camp Road to just vote for them, even though the place look like crap, because even though they ain't doing nothing for them. And this amazes me with Bahamians. Like, I look at South Andres. I look at Perry Christie's area. Centerville. You know, I look at Brave Davis area. Jesus. I look at areas like Camp Road and Beantown. These areas that religiously vote for the PLP. Nothing. Like, think about this. Bahamians just wake up, man. Bahamians, no, man. No, man. We got to wake up. Wake up your family and friends in Camp Road and Beantown and in the ghettos, please. Tell them they don't have to be poor. They don't have to put up with that. They don't have to have outside toilet. They don't have to be going to the pump. That don't have to happen. There will be urban transformation. There will be no outside toilets in the Bahamas. No one will have to go to the outside pump. Not one human being. Water is a human right. You getting water to your house, free water. It's a human right. Not Bahamians. Jesus. If you all vote for PLP after them again, 803-5995. Let me take some more questions and comments. You have to be strong with those political prostitutes. Don't be afraid to speak strongly to them, because it's them that are selling out this country. It's them that are doing the evil bidding of the politicians. You have to be strong. A bunch of them are criminals. They're criminals. And they are coming out, gossiping about other people when they are, hardcore criminals. If you know their history and their past, it would blow your mind. Stand strong against them. Speak truth to power. You can't be a fella who was accused of raping a 13-year-old and 14-year-old. The only reason he got off, it wasn't on technicality. The only reason he got off is because the fam, he went there and he was texting them nasty stuff. Oh, I could tell everyone you nasty and you wanted it and you this and that. I could say this but you and I could say that but you and I could say the next thing but you. That's when he started texting the girls. And the family's like, oh Lord, they don't want their family to have to go through this no more. Let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon, you're live.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bean. I hope all is well with you and your family.
Yes.
I'm calling from Grand Bahama, man. I need you to answer a question for me, sir.
Go ahead.
It might be a two-part, but how come everybody, people talking about cancer in Grand Bahama, right? But how come everybody in Grand Bahama, especially the ladies, all of them have a high blood problem? I mean, high pressure. I mean, they're on all kind of medication. I mean, they taking, if you have one sickness, I don't know why you should be taking 5 and 6 different pills for the same day. This high blood thing in Grand Bahama, like it gone out the door. Anyone over the age of 40 to 50, just about everybody have a high blood problem. I don't know. I would like for you to expand on that for me, sir.
Cancer is happening. I'll get to the blood pressure thing, but cancer is happening in Grand Bahama because it's an industrialized area. The same thing is happening in China. I spent a lot of my younger days in China, and what started to happen was all kind of deformities would happen. People would be being born with 3 arms and with their intestines on the outside of their body, and all kind of freaky stuff started happening because of the industrialization that's going on there. And in Grand Bahama, people are living too close to the industrialization. As you can see, where they have the Baco plants, people are living right next to that. All right, and that shouldn't be. Stuff happened where oil spills and all that kind of stuff happened in the waters, in the land, etc. And it's killing people. There's fumes that goes in the air, and it's not being regulated properly because we don't have the proper regulations in the Bahamas. And we're going to fix that. All right, it can remain an industrial area, but we have to hold the companies accountable, and we have to put measures in place to make sure that people are not exposed to what is going on. If a company does an oil spill or whatever is happening, that we are able to resolve that. Like with Equinox, the problem still is there. And that's Norway. And Norway all about talking about the environment and this and that. They ain't even touching oil no more. They're getting out of that. They're not investing in any oil companies, etc. But they did a spill right there. And all our leaders have to do is stand up, they'll fix it. But our leaders, they want under the table money. They don't want no solutions for our country. And that's the problem with the cancer. Now, with high blood pressure, a lot of our people, a lot of Black people are predisposed to that. And with us as Bahamians, you're going to be predisposed, you and your family, either to high blood pressure or to diabetes. That's really how it goes right now in terms of being predisposed. A lot of our food, when people cut out sugar, the food, they pick food that has salt in it. If they cut out food with salt, they pick food with a lot of sugar in it. And so that's what they normally do until eventually they'll have both. But it's because of the food again. We can eat better if we start producing our own, if we start producing differently. All right. But that's going to take the New Bahamas to come in and make sure that we have healthy food that we can now process and we can now do this. That's the only thing that's going to save us, along with the health plans that we have in place to deal with. And our health minister is going to be to the forefront of this to make sure it happens.
I totally agree with you, Mr. Bean. And the reason why I say that, when we were growing up, we had a lot of natural stuff. And, we have some of these natural doctors around here. If you sit down and you listen to them, they'll bring you back to the days when you were young growing up.
Yes.
I think what happened is they're trying to move us away from the natural stuff. And that's what probably is going to be killing out a lot of us. When we look at all of the facilities in Grand Bahama in reference to the big companies and stuff like that, we're getting sick, but we're not benefiting anything from it. And I think that's one of the major problems we have here in Grand Bahama. And I would hope that one day you would be the president or the premier of Grand Bahama or the whole Bahamas so you could address these things, because it looks like everybody is scared to touch it. But thanks, and I want you to have a wonderful afternoon, sir.
Thank you too, man. I appreciate it. And it is only going to happen. It is only going to happen if you make it happen. Some people say, well, see why I need to do this, see why I need to do that. No. You need to. The PLP won against the UVP when the people rose up. The people came and helped. The people came forward. That is how this is going to happen. The people spread the message. Grammy tell you, you voting PLP or you ain't going to be in my house. Grammy was strict. This is the time again. I know I don't believe in that kind of politics. I believe in letting people think what they want, but this is an emergency. This is urgent. You have to, your young people are going to be dependent on you to determine which way to go. Most young people aren't into politics. They're not, no matter what you say to them, they ain't into politics right now. They into music and partying and all that kind of stuff. And when election comes, they be like, oh, Grammy, what you think? Mommy, what you think? How we getting? How we getting? You have to guide them. All right, because it's going to be too late at that point for them to go back and watch all of these lives or watch all of these videos or really see what's really going on if they weren't doing so. But a lot of young people are right now. There was one young lady that came home. Her mother is a strong F&M. And she said, boy, mommy, I sorry to have to tell you this, but in school, everyone, she's in 12th grade, everyone today go in COI. Everyone said again COI, and she would tell her mommy that, but her mommy told her say baby, me too. She was shocked to hear that. She was shocked to hear that because she know her mommy is strong after them, going to all the rallies and doing all this kind of stuff all her life. She never talked to her mommy about it, but the child brought it up. And there's a lot of people who have already switched, but their family don't know they switch. But the switch is happening. The change is here. All over the place, people have transformed. Now, there's this fake poll that the FNM put out, and this is Michael Pintard. All right, Michael Pintard. They have no traction. So this is the same trick that they did under Minnis. The FNM was getting no traction because there was a split in the party because he insulted Hubert Ingram. And so the FNM was getting no traction. And so they just decided to come up with a scam. And so Pintard decided to get together with Reynard Henfield and John Bostwick to form this We March thing to really galvanize the people against the government. And then in the last minute, to endorse the FNM. That was the plan from the beginning. So Reynard Henfield did not switch. That was the plan from the beginning. All right. I know this for a fact. All right. I was there. And so that was their plan. And that's why I never took part in We March, because I knew what was coming. And so they did this plot because Minnis tried to have some rallies and no one came out. And he could get no support and no one was checking for him. So they said, well, let's do this We March thing, make it look like it's independent. And then let's just come out and you say F&M in the last minute. And so that was the plan. So again, Pintard is so, they're so desperate right now to get some kind of traction. That they put out a poll recently, and in that they just put out this fake poll. Now, obviously, the poll ain't real because everyone saw the poll results, but no one saw the poll. So they could circulate the the results of the poll, but they couldn't circulate the poll, the link for the poll, so you could go and vote. All right, so that makes you know that they just put these graphics together and made up their own numbers off the top of their head to make you feel that. Listen. New Bahamians, do not believe any poll where you couldn't see the results real time. Don't let them tell you that this is the results that they got. They could say anything. There's a media book called Bias. All right. If you study communication, you'll know about these kind of stuff. There's a media book called Bias. Look it up. And they talk about how they just make up stuff for these things. They make up any result that they want, all right? And who's going to question them, all right? So that was a fake poll to say negative stuff about the PLP and negative stuff about the COI. The poll asked a question about Pintard, and he got, phenomenal favorable ratings about Pintard and the job that he is doing. I don't know who they've been talking to, but obviously it ain't Bahamians. But that was the point of it. And then they asked about me and Maria, and it got bad readings, of course. But that was the point of that. That's Pintard them doing this nonsense. So anytime Pintard does this kind of stuff again, these kinds of dirty tricks to deceive the Bahamian people, we're going to start to ask questions about his mental health and his record as it relates to Sandilands. And we need to ask him about any past drug use or present drug use by himself. And I'm talking about cocaine or crack or anything, if that is the case. And so We need him to answer these questions. Why? Because he wants to be prime minister of this country, and we need to know if we have someone who's running for prime minister who may not be too sane. And so, since they decided to put out a poll attacking myself and Maria, we need to ask these questions. And every time the FNM attacks us, that's the questions that we're going to ask. That's the question that we need to ask. All right. And so it's a question. So he can answer those questions and let us know. Because the PLP has been asking those questions and he has not been answering them. All right. So that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not fall for these fake polls. These polls are ridiculous. We had polls with minutes leading before the last election, and come on, all right. And so the FNM is in a serious state, and we're not focusing on them at all. But any little trick they come up, we have a duty to come and let you know what they're up to. All right. And so a man was involved in a murder for hire plot, and the FNM made him their leader. This ain't Cecil Wallace Whitfield or Kendall Isaacs, FNM. It's a different creature. I don't know what this is. And their only hope outside of that is to go from Pintard back to Menace. Jesus. FNM, well, let's bring this thing to end, shut this down, and let's move on. All right. So I'm on a mission. I wasn't even planning on going live this long. I'm dealing with some serious matters. And so I may go live on Tuesday as well as I may not. So y'all please stay tuned. But there's a lot of civil servants who've been bringing me information. I couldn't deal with all of these stuff. But there's a lot of work to do. But the only thing we really need to focus on at this time is we need to just change the government. We just need to, when I say change the government, FNM to PLP is not a change in government. That's the same thing. They're working together. We need change. And we're going to have that change. We're going to have that change. All right? So, again, there's a lot of stuff I want to talk to today, but I'm dealing with some stuff right now. Keep me in your prayers. This is a physical battle. It's a financial battle. It's a spiritual battle. Keep me in your prayers. For all of those who are part of this, who believe, keep all of us in your prayers. All right. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Keep me in your prayers. All right. Keep me and my family in your prayers. When are we gonna have the rally? On Labor Day, we're gonna have a rally. We are going to rally. All right. On Labor Day, we are going to rally. And so it's time. It's time to start the new Bahamas. We're going to come out on Labor Day, and we're going to start a war, and we're going to take this country back. We are going into the promised land. We're going to cancel out the old Bahamas, and we're going to bring in the next Bahamas, the next one. It's time for something new. It's time for something different. All right, we're going to give out all the information this week. Just watch my Facebook page, and you're going to see all of the information about the rally and what we're doing and how we're doing it. All right, so just pay attention to the Facebook and spread the message. Remember, the media doesn't want this message to get out. They are afraid, and so they want the old way to be. T-shirts would be at the headquarters. Yes, T-shirts are at the headquarters. We have T-shirts there, so go get your T-shirts. Wear your T-shirts. You're going to have a blackout on Labor Day. All right? It's blackout time. It's war time. It's time for us to show this government that we're serious. We're looking forward to everyone being there. You ain't working? Come out. Hear what I have to say. Hear what the first set of shadow ministers that we're going to release, hear what they have to say. All right? My time is up. My daughter touching on her watch. I on her time now. All right? I coming now. Alright. So thank you all. Hold on. I got one more call coming through. Let me do this last call. Good afternoon, you're live. Good afternoon, you're live. Okay, they hung up. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time for real change. It's war time. All right. And so now it's daddy time. So I gotta go. I love all of you. We're fighting for you. We're making this happen for you. A lot of sacrifices are being made. I just want to keep so many people are losing their family members. So many people are hurting right now. We need change. We need change. All we need is a government with vision who's ready to fight for the people. I can't do this. We have to do this. If we are not ready to do this, this won't get done. Your responsibility. It's all of our responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for new Bahamas. I love you. I love you. I love all the Bahamian people. I love my country. Even those fighting against us, I love my country. And this is why we fight. We're not doing this because we want anything. We're not doing this because we want power. We're doing this because we want power for the Bahamian people. We're doing this for our next generation, and we're doing this for our generation. Stand strong. Talk to your family members. Get your 10 people. Surpass your 10 people. Make sure that we can make a difference. All right? Love you. Keep me in your prayers. And see you soon.
And it's Bahamians aren't prepared to stand up and fight in the